under the Triple H banner, this is the least enjoyable build to WrestleMania because it really feels like he's using the most safest routes or the most convoluted routes to build what, like you said, on paper is a great card.
What is going on, you guys? Good Friday morning. Welcome into the Takedown on SI YouTube channel for another edition of the Takedown Discussions. Rick Ucchino in the Captain Kirk swivel chair today for Zach Haydorn. Zach is on vacation, although anybody with kids knows a vacation to Disney ain't exactly a vacation for you. So I do not envy that man this week. I'm happy we are back this week. We ended up not being able to do an episode last week because my internet just died. Anybody who watched my Saraya interview knows my internet betrayed me, but we have got it fixed. I have got an Arrow device like seared into my computer now, so my internet issues are fixed. I got done with that stuff. We are in. We are ready to go. We got a lot to dive into today. My man SP3 joining me here on the first episode of Discussions that he has been on. Appreciate you tagging in, as always, sir. The ultimate substitute teacher in the world of professional wrestling.
I thank you for that. That is one of my nicknames. The substitute teacher, the Black Rod Building is here.
And the list master is what I have dubbed you for the Takedown on SI. If anybody needs something to argue about on social media, which is there's never anything in short supply of that, but if you need something, my guy SP3 will put up a list on the Takedown on SI and just watch the internet melt down. We got a lot we want to dive into today. Do me a favor, though. Make sure to give this video a like. Make sure to subscribe if you haven't already. We got up to, as of the time we're doing this recording, 805 subscribers. Thank you guys so much. I think that's pretty solid growth. Considering we just launched this thing and really started putting work into it just a couple of months ago. So thank you guys so much for the support. And again, yeah, I did drop an interview with Saraya talking about her new book. Make sure to check that out as soon as you are done here with us. SP3, without any further ado, we got another John Cena, Cody Rhodes, face-to-face on Monday Night Raw. This is the second of 3 face-to-faces that we are getting with these guys. They are going to be, again, at the O2 in London. You're going to be at that show this Monday. All right? So here's where I'm at right now, because there's a lot of, remember how I mentioned a lot of people like to argue and bitch and complain on social media? There's been a lot of that regarding the WrestleMania build as of late. As of right now, we are at, a little over 3 weeks away. We got 4 episodes of SmackDown, 3 episodes of Raw. We have 6 matches on the card. The card as it stands: Cody Rhodes, John Cena for the WWE title, Tiffany Stratton, Charlotte Flair for the WWE Women's Championship, Gunther, Jey Uso for the World Heavyweight title. It's going to be a triple threat, right? Like, we think this is going to be a triple threat. Io, Rhea, Bianca for the WWE Women's World Championship, Randy Orton, Kevin Owens, Roman Reigns, CM Punk, Seth Rollins. That match has been made official. That's the card right now. The card in and of itself, if you just look at it on paper, as a start, rock solid. Can't complain about it. The build itself, though, people are starting to nitpick here, particularly John Cena, Cody Rhodes, Charlotte Flair, Tiffany Stratton. Where are you at right now altogether here with this build to WrestleMania so far, now that we're just about 3 weeks out, SP3?
If you're asking me for my honest opinion, I think it sucks. Especially when you compare it to last year's WrestleMania, where they gave us one of the best all-time builds to WrestleMania Central, basically surrounded around the 2 sagas, the 2 long-term stories that they had going on, of Cody finishing his story and the Bloodline saga, with the kind of the underneath was Drew McIntyre going for the World Heavyweight Championship and his issue with CM Punk. Underneath that was the Judgment Day, where Rhea Ripley and Damian Priest kind of being focal points there, and them with the tag team titles, also feuding with R-Truth. And then underneath that, you had Bailey and Io Sky, which had the really strong start and then kind of peter out towards the end of it. You had Rhea Ripley and Becky Lynch. You had the whole story of Sami Zayn, the underdog, going against the Ring General, the greatest Intercontinental Champion of all time. You had those central stories that really drove the build to WrestleMania last year. Even the year before that, with WrestleMania 39, with Cody going against Roman for the first time, when everybody was behind Cody to be the one to dethrone Roman. Then you had Sami Zayn turning on the bloodline and reuniting with Kevin Owens to go against the Usos. You had what turned out to be a stellar matchup. Wasn't the greatest build, with Rhea Ripley and Charlotte Flair, also Bianca Belair and Asuka. I feel like the women's title matches were nitpicks, were kind of the ones that were getting criticism on the build to WrestleMania 39. But when you had two great main events that were being built to, you can kind of ignore that because everything turned out well at WrestleMania 39. So under the Triple H banner, this is the least enjoyable build to WrestleMania, because it really feels like he's using the most safest routes or the most convoluted routes to build what, like you said, on paper is a great card, but he's going about the build in the least satisfaction and the least entertaining way with every single one of these matches.
Yeah, so let's focus in on John Cena and Cody Rhodes for a second, right? Because I have liked both of the promo exchanges the past 2 weeks, right? I like what John Cena is doing as a heel, right? He comes in and everything that he said on Monday was accurate. He knows how to manipulate the crowd. He knows them. He has been in a toxic relationship with the audience for the past 25 years. Like, I buy into everything that John Cena is doing. I like Cody Rhodes' response. I like him coming in and saying, hey, look, I'm going to take this championship belt that you guys love, that I know you love, because you said I desecrated it in April of 2005 when I introduced the Spinner Championship. That was the worst mistake you guys ever did. I love that this man has kept receipts and is ready to cash all of them in and get his returns back. I love everything that they are doing with John Cena thus far. I think he's doing a great job with it. Putting the kid on blast on week 1 and then turning it around and calling all of us awful because we shared that poor kid's mug all over social media. I enjoyed it. Thought it was a great touch. I love everything they're doing. How does it connect to what we saw at Elimination Chamber? That's my biggest thing right now. They have not addressed the elephant in the room, the connection to Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson. Where is The Rock? Is he coming back? I think that's part of the biggest issue, is because we have gone for 2 weeks now with Cena on television. Plus, Elimination Chamber was a while ago now. It was way beyond that because we had a couple of weeks before Cena even showed up on television. Yeah. We've gotten no follow-up to that directly. Why? If it's simply John Cena, like, went after Cody Rhodes because he's the new fan favorite, because he's the new golden boy, it had nothing to do with The Rock. It had everything to do with this toxic relationship with the fans. If that's what you want to use as his dark origin story, and that's the story you're decided to tell, that's fine. Come out and tell me that. Like, that's what I want to see on Monday. I want to hear the motivation. I want to connect the dots. That's my biggest issue with it right now. I don't have a problem with the story they're telling, but it's a different story from what they started to tell at Elimination Chamber.
Yeah, that's a big issue, but I think that I loved the first week. I thought the first week with John Cena ripping into the fans about the 20-year toxic relationship, breaking up with the fans, and Cody showing the fire, not feeling like this is the real John Cena and telling him to find the real John Cena or he's going to run him down. I thought that was really well done. The Brussels crowd was a hot crowd, and I thought Scotland was a hot crowd once again. I did not like this week's promo at all. I think the first part was basically Cena trying to rip into the fans again, and he basically took away the story that was more interesting. The story that was more interesting when he turned heel is John Cena is giving us the white whale. He's turned heel for the first time in his career. He's finally a heel because he's no longer the strongest. He's no longer the best. This is what he had to do to win number 17 and put himself in the record books. And he basically washed that away because he told us he's always been heel. That he's been doing an experiment this entire time. So that took a little bit away from me. I think that he saved it back by setting up his basically Summer of Punk, that he's going to take away the WWE championship and you got to fight to get it from him before he retires. But when you think about that for a second, it kind of washes that away too, because there's another world title, John, when CM Punk did this in 2011, it took 8 days until you were the WWE champion. So it does not matter. None of this really matters. They've done this plenty of times. And the bigger issue, I think, even more than not addressing The Rock, is that 2 weeks in, John Cena is in a feud with the fans. He's not in a feud with Cody Rhodes. We don't know. He's not said a word about Cody Rhodes. They've done 2 in-ring segments where it's not a promo exchange. It's John Cena cuts a 10 to 20 minute promo. Cody Rhodes says through 2 or 3 lines to respond, and then they separate, and we never hear from John. Like, we never hear anything about John, where the perfect story is, you are the beloved babyface that I always wanted to be. That's why I turned on you. It's a simple story. It takes 2 seconds to say that, and they have yet to say that. And we only have 3 episodes of Monday Night Raw left with 1 advertised appearance from John Cena left. That's outrageous.
Yeah,
that's a little bit concerning.
Yeah, it feels like we're in a Tarantino flick right now, where we're getting like the ending first, and then here's the middle ground, and now we're gonna get the beginning on week 3. Like, all I ask out of Monday, all I ask is go ahead and set up the triple threat match for the Women's World Championship, because we know that match is not going, especially with Bianca as the referee. And by the way, I love how she's like, I don't know how to referee. I'm like, it ain't that hard. Just watch the match and count the 3.
and I like the build to that matchup, but I felt like Monday was the weakest segment that they had. They just came out, they said the same thing, and no one came out of it looking good. You're disrespecting Io Sky once again. Rhea Ripley has come out like a big whiny baby instead of a badass, and Bianca Belair just keeps getting booed even though she's telling the truth, and then she turns into an idiot who had amnesia because she went up to Adam Pearce saying, who am I facing at WrestleMania? I literally just said they are facing each other, and then they face you. And then you don't know how to referee. You don't know how to count to 3. Everybody looked bad except for Adam Pearce. Adam Pearce was the only one who looked good in that segment.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, it kind of feels like this is one of those things where, and I again, I haven't minded the build. You're right. Monday, again, it was one of those things where it was off. It felt like we had the script to the 2 weeks ago show this past Monday, right? Like the progression just feels off, like we're stuck in Pulp Fiction or something. But this definitely feels like one of the builds that's been better, like online and in the social digital, than what we've gotten on television thus far. Overall though, for the show. So again, coming out of Monday, connect the dots. Even if the Rock's not there, if they're waiting to bring the Rock back until they're back in the United States, fine, whatever. If he isn't free to travel over to overseas, connect the dots, get to the motive, set all the pieces up in the right place, and so you can hit the gas running the last 2 episodes for John Cena and Cody. Set up the triple threat match for the Women's World title, because I'm tired of this. Who am I facing? This, that stuff. Get it together. I really want to see for SmackDown tonight, Monday Night Raw, I'd like to see more of this card get solidified, because we know what matches are going to be added to this, right? We know Drew McIntyre is going to be facing Damian Priest at WrestleMania. We know it's going to be a Women's World title triple threat match. I'm holding out hope Jade Cargill and Naomi are going to face each other on this card. I feel like that's got to be solidified and is going to be on there, because I don't know where a lot of this other card is at right now. Who are some of the people that you are most concerned with might be missing out on this? It looks like we're getting a 4-way for the Intercontinental title with Finn Balor and Dominic Mysterio and Braun Breaker and Penta. Great. No notes. I appreciate that. It's been it's been like over a decade since we've had more than 3 people fight for the IC title at WrestleMania. I think the latter match that Zack Ryder won, Matt Cardona won, was actually the last one that had more than 3 people involved in the Intercontinental title match at WrestleMania. So I don't care if you want to use that as the multi-person matchup this year. Great. Perfect. Fine. I'm cool with it.
That's not the multi-person. There's more than one multi-person matchup.
I know, but that's the thing though, man. Like you've got so much talent you're trying to squeeze onto this card, even on 2 nights. But there's still a lot of people that I'm concerned about. Mostly for me, the 2 that I thought were going to be slam dunks that I don't know are anymore. What the hell's going on with Bayley and Roxanne? Because it feels like they have just completely dropped that.
Yeah, that ain't happening.
They just dropped that altogether. And then, are we going to ramp up to anything with the women's tag team titles? I'm concerned that Liv and Raquel ain't going to be, unless we are picking it up real quick with Alexa and Nikki. I don't know where they're getting a tag team title defense from.
The only tease that they gave us was Bayley teaming up with Lyra to face Liv and Raquel. That seems very random and haphazardly put together.
Great. Lyra wins the inaugural women's championship, and now she'll be going after another title again, which has been the story of her reign so far. Love it.
Like with the WrestleMania build, like of the matches that you named that are official, the only one that I think has had a good build with no issues is Randy Orton and Kevin Owens, because it literally kind of just started. It kind of just started. So I don't have any issues with that. I thought Cody and Cena, they had an off week. Tiffany and Charlotte is probably an all-time worst WrestleMania build. It's up there with Booker T versus Triple H for the worst build to a WrestleMania World Title match of all time. I think it's that bad.
I look at Tiffany Stratton now, and I talked to Tiffany Stratton about this, like at Royal Rumble weekend. It was just a rumor that it was going to be her and Charlotte at that point. And she sounded confident. She sounded ready. She's like, I'm ready for it. It's going to be a generational match. It talked about their matchup and how great this is going to be at WrestleMania. And I have no doubt. Honestly, I have no doubt. I feel like this matchup is going to be really, really good. It's going to be one of these ones that people aren't going, if the build especially sticks on the trajectory that it's on now, people are not going to be excited to see this matchup. They're going to love it by the end of it. I believe in the in-ring talent of both of these ladies. They're going to be able to hammer it home. But watching Tiffany in the ring since Charlotte came back, I don't see the confidence in her that she had before she showed up. Like Tiffany, to me, whether it was her matches with Becky, whether it was Elimination Chamber, Royal Rumble, whatever it is, Money in the Bank, she showed up, she owned the stage. You could see the confidence. It was pouring out of it, oozing out of it. She 100% looked like she fit, was a star in the main roster. Since Charlotte has been there, I have not seen that confidence in her at all in this build. And the promo exchange this past Friday on SmackDown was a clear-cut indication of that. Like, she repeated herself on multiple occasions. Like, it didn't come off like she was believing what she was saying. And I don't know if it's because the material just hasn't been that great, if that's part of it. But even like their pull-apart brawls haven't been that great. And she missed she did 2 sentons to try to hit Charlotte and missed them both. I'm like, girl, you are so nervous right now. You are so nervous right now. And I look back at some of those promo exchanges she had with Becky when they were fighting over the NXT Women's Championship. And I'm like, where's that girl? Go find that girl. Like, what can they do to try to help her out right now? Because it feels like, and this is kind of like what they said on Busted Open, like they had put her in a sink or swim situation and saying, all right, go out and prove it. But I kind of feel like they need to help her out a little bit too.
Yeah, because they put her in a sink or swim situation without any swimming lessons. Like, because they did not want Tiffany Stratton to be babyface in this rivalry. That was obvious when they had Charlotte come back and cut this emotional promo like she was going to be the babyface. That was not the plan. The plan, and now you also could tell that because they did a whole story where it was supposed to make Tiffany Stratton into the sympathetic figure with Nia Jax before she cashed in Money in the Bank. But then when she cashed in Money in the Bank, they never committed to her being a babyface. She never beat Nia Jax one one-on-one after cashing in on her. They did the tag team matchup with Trish, and that kind of presented her as a babyface, but she was kind of a sidekick to Trish Stratus. They never committed to Tiffany Stratton, her character, becoming a babyface, and now we're stuck in the situation where she's in a sink or swim situation, and she doesn't know how to swim. She doesn't know who her babyface character is. That's why she has no belief in what she's saying. I thought that promo exchange was awful. I know there's Charlotte Flair fans that were like, "Oh man, Charlotte buried her. That was great. That was great for Charlotte." But basically, you've nerfed the whatever result is going to happen. And I agree with you. It'll probably be a good matchup, but I don't care about the result. If Charlotte Flair wins, she's beating someone that she verbatim checks notes, said that she felt sorry for, and is not that good and won't have a job when she's her age. And if that person beats Charlotte, that's a fluke because she's a loser and she shouldn't be beating Charlotte. So it's basically the woman's version of the John Cena to Austin Theory in Boston promo before WrestleMania 39.
Yeah, that's a good call. That's a very good call. Like there was something about that promo that just didn't really like hit with me, and like something on it just like I don't know. Something just felt off about it. Something felt wrong about it, and that's you nailed it exactly. That's what it was. It felt like Charlotte was putting Tiffany in a no-win situation, much like Cena did with Theory. Just verbally eviscerated her. Like, and it's just like, okay, like if you're really trying to like test her and push her out there, like that's a bold thing to do. And if anybody can help her out in this situation, like I know they ain't got nothing for her creatively right now, but dude, give a call to Becky and see if she can give her some pointers, give her some help, some coaching, some liners. If anybody knows how to get back at Charlotte and throw her act and her stick right back in her face, it's her. Get her in there immediately and try to help her out, please.
Becky survived Charlotte throwing the title on the floor and stuff like that. So yeah, I mean it's rough. It's rough right here because this somehow is worse than WWE making Jey Uso a bad wrestler as a storyline. This is somehow worse than that.
Okay, so do you think that they are like, all right, we know Jey Uso's not a bad wrestler.
We know this for a fact.
We know this for a fact.
He's had a 5-star matchup at WrestleMania.
I don't care what, like these people who have come out of the woodwork all of a sudden because now the machine is behind their beloved underdog, right? Like we see that fans are fickle. Go back to Bryan Danielson. They are fickle as you know what, okay? So now that the machine is behind Jey Uso, now, oh, he's not that good. He's not world championship material. I can't believe they had him win the Royal Rumble. Like all of this stuff, right? But you still got the live crowds who are behind him. And the biggest knock on him now is like, oh, he can't work. He can't wrestle. He's 5 moves. He's this. He's an entrance. Everybody's picking him apart now. Do you feel like that's not the story that I read into, though? Like him slipping and doing all these things. I read into he's not in his zone right now. He's not confident right now. It's not that he can't work. It's a lack of confidence. You think it's more the other?
I think that it's not the right thing to do. We don't need crisis of conscience, confidence, Jey Uso right now. We need to build him up. We needed him to beat actual former world champions, actual legit main eventers. He should not be spending 10 minutes wrestling Grayson Waller and then botching a spear and a tope against Austin Theory. And then he did that by accident. And then you choose to make it a part of the story. He slips on doing a spear, a simple spear. He needs to get a pep talk by his brother, who is legitimately a worse singles wrestler than he is. So like, what are we doing? This is not how you build up a world heavyweight championship matchup. You know when you know this is bad is because the last person, Rick, who had a storyline about being a bad wrestler was Maxine Dupree. We are booking the WrestleMania main eventer, the Royal Rumble winner, in the same fashion we did Maxine Dupree. That is an issue.
Yeah, I feel like they're trying to recreate the magic that they had with Sammy last year. That's what I get. Like they're calling him an underdog. Nobody thinks he's got a shot. All this other stuff. He's 0-4 against Gunther, even though he said he was 4-0 against Gunther last week.
3-0. Yeah, he said he's 3-0.
3-0. Whatever.
0-3.
Whatever it is, he's 0-3. He's never beat Gunther, right? And like you said, I feel like they're trying to recreate the magic that they had with Sami Zayn where he beat Gunther last year. And I'm really wondering if maybe this is the plan. I'm starting to wonder if Gunther's not going to win at WrestleMania. Like I'm really wondering if they're just going to keep the title on him.
It feels like they might work themselves into a shoot at this point.
Oof, we shall see. Hopefully things, pick up. I think they put Elimination Chamber, they put their foot on the gas, and then I feel like they backed it down into cruise control here on this European tour a little bit. Let's hope tonight or this afternoon, because it's going to air at 4:00 local time on Eastern Standard Time. And then Monday, they really start to ramp it up, and it's just balls to the wall between now and then, because I still feel like we're going to get 16 to 18 matches on this card. 14 to 16. 14
yeah,
to 16.
I can see 13 to 14. We had 13 last year. I can see 14 this year.
Maybe, yeah, we're going to get somewhere in there. We're at 6 right now, and I can think of maybe 3 that are going to get made official. That puts us at 9.
Well, we got the Intercontinental title 4-way, which should be more people, because what are we doing with Sheamus? We got AJ Styles and Logan Paul.
I forgot about AJ and Logan, yeah.
You got Damian Priest and Drew McIntyre.
And then Jade and Naomi.
Whatever they're doing with the U.S. title, which probably involves LA Knight, Braun Strowman, Jacob Fatu, Solo Sikoa. So that's 5.
Yeah.
So that's 11. We're at 11-ish so far.
Yeah.
And then like you said, something with the women's tag team titles.
Maybe. Yeah. How about these women's mid-card championships? Get one of them on there. Well, we'll see.
That's why I think they're gonna have Lyra team with Bayley, because they don't want to defend both women's mid-card titles at the pay-per-view.
I mean, I love the fact that they're finally doing something with Zelina, but do they have 3 weeks to make? Like, can they make Zelina and Chelsea a WrestleMania worthy feud over the next 3 weeks? I don't know. It feels like they kind of waited too long to build that one, but we shall see. Wednesday night on Dynamite, I thought this was an excellent exchange between Swerve Strickland and Jon Moxley, as these two guys are going to face each other for the AEW World Championship at Dynasty on April 6th. Hard to believe that is already just like right around the corner here. Man, like, here's my expert analysis on that promo Wednesday night. Swerve Strickland is really freaking good at this. Like, he just gets it. He is arguably the smartest performer of the major companies out there, just from a sense of his ability to dissect a story, tell an effective promo. Even them presenting him as this genius where he had Willow come out with a pipe because he knew Marina was going to be around the corner, right? Like, and he didn't even flinch when Marina was there and the crowd was screaming at him, because he knew he had backup in Willow Nightingale. And he turned everything that Jon Moxley was in AEW and is now and threw it right back in his face, and even threw a WWE callback in there, which I absolutely loved. Have fun playing Jon Moxley on TV, which is exactly what he said to John Cena back in 2016 when he was Dean Ambrose. And the thing is I like John's promo too. And I know everybody is like waiting for this title reign to end and like move on from the Death Rider stuff and give John a chance to kind of rediscover himself and refigure things out and get a refresher, right? But I can't help but look at these two guys and go, no, why don't we continue this for a little while? Why I kind of like this matchup. I like this pairing. Why don't we continue this for a few months and let this kind of carry on and let John walk away from Dynasty as the AEW World Champion? What are your thoughts on that? Are you all you were? I know for a fact you're on board with putting the title on Swerve, but could you buy into having John retain at Dynasty and keeping this going for several more weeks?
if John retains at Dynasty, you don't continue this after Dynasty because Swerve had used his number one contendership. The way to continue this after Dynasty is to have Swerve win, so then Moxley can get a rematch and you can do a bigger stip match at Double or Nothing, where that's going to be an even better matchup because they both really thrive and excel in stipulation, hardcore type matches. So that's why Swerve should win at Dynasty, because then your world title program, which they really haven't even scratched the surface, that was the first face-to-face promo exchange that they had, and then next week is the go home show where they're going to do the mix tornado tag team matchup. So the way to continue it after Dynasty is to have Swerve dethrone Jon Moxley, and then Moxley comes back, gets more vicious, beats him down with the Death Riders to set up a bigger stip matchup at Double or Nothing. I think that Tony Khan needs to be smart about this. He needs to stop playing games. You have gotten the Jon Moxley AEW World Title reign out of the doldrums, where he had a good matchup with Cope, where he did the spike spot that's gonna be remembered. I'm gonna remember that for a very long time.
Oh my God, I think I'm gonna remember more people trying to pull it out of his back than him landing on it.
Yeah, I'm going to remember that for a long time. And then he had his first really good promo exchange with Swerve. This was the most concise and the most logically paced promo that he's had since he became the AEW World Champion. He made sense. He wasn't rambling. He wasn't Bray Wyatt in the mid 2000s, late 2010s. He wasn't anything like that, which he's been for a very long time during this whole Death Riders thing. So end this title reign on the up. Don't try to continue it past it and then it goes down again. End it on a high. Let him lose to Swerve at Dynasty. Let them do a Texas death match, and Swerve mentioned that in the promo too. Let them do a Texas death match at Double or Nothing. Swerve wins that as well, and then you do Swerve and Hangman in the main event at All in Texas for the world title, or Swerve and Ospreay for the AEW world title in Texas at AEW All In. Swerve being the champion creates a lot more interesting title matches that people will buy a ticket for, that you need to sell tickets for your All In Texas event to make it the big event that you want it to be. I don't think Jon Moxley as AEW World Champion is going to make a lot of fans want to buy a ticket for All In Texas.
You have made a very compelling argument, and you have sold me. Do you think Tony Khan does it?
No, I don't think Tony Khan listens to me and listens to logic at this point. He'll have to prove me wrong on that.
He is somebody who very much, and if the reports are true, that he is much more, not, I hate this term now, but if he's much more in the weeds, if he is really the driving force behind this, we know this is a man who had his first 4 world champions mapped out over the course of 3 years, right? So he's not one, and it's a good thing, but it can also be detrimental to your product. He's not one to be swayed off of his plan. So if Swerve was not the guy, was not the plan to take it off of Jon Moxley, I don't think he's going to do it. I think he'll wait till Darby is done climbing Everest, and then he'll bring back Darby and he'll anoint him.
And we can't wait for a guy who has a 40% chance of dying. We can't wait for that, Tony. Be logical. Listen to common sense, please.
All right, real quick. 2 big news announcements when it comes to AEW's women's division this week. Saraya announced that she has departed AEW, so they lose Saraya from the roster, who is somebody who obviously brings a lot of knowledge, a lot of experience. She is a name. Not a lot of people enjoyed what they were doing with her on TV. That's fine, but it is still a loss for the company, in my opinion. But they pick up Mina Shirakawa. So she is leaving Stardom at the end of her contract, which is going to be, in just a few days here, that her contract's going to expire. She's got some U.S. dates she needs to fulfill, Las Vegas weekend, but she's going to be coming in to AEW's very, very stacked women's division right now, which, I mean, that main event scene right now where, and I'm considering Mercedes in that, where we're finally getting into the stages where we're going to have Mercedes and Athena. Thank God. I've been waiting for that for a long time. Okay. Megan Bain has, just has it. She is, she's a star, in my opinion. She might be the most physically like impressive female athlete I've seen in quite some time. She is just stacked. She's got it, right? So adding her in, immediately getting her in the mix with Toni Storm, great. Love it. I'm very interested to see how Toni defends her title, or if they don't. If Bane just comes in and, you know, she's the Megasis right off the bat and she is the goddess of the AEW women's division. But adding Mina Shirakawa now back into that mix, it's very interesting. I'm wondering where she is going to fit in. We know Saraya left because she didn't feel like there was a spot for her to fit in AEW anymore, which is true. To be fair, they needed her in 2022. They don't need her now. How do you see Mina Shirakawa fitting in?
I think Mina Shirakawa is made to be on U.S. Television. She's just got so much undeniable charisma, and she just has a very likable personality, and she just gets how to stand out among the pack. So I think that Mina Shirakawa is the type of star that could potentially become a TBS champion, an AEW Women's World Champion in the near future, in the foreseeable future. I could see that. Saraya, I think that she's had a polarizing run in AEW, and I think that a lot of her good work or her reputation, her legacy with AEW is more behind the scenes. I think that she helped out a lot of ladies, and I thought that the Outcast was a good platform to lead to Toni Storm becoming the timeless character that led to Harley Cameron breaking out after an introduction with QTV. She needed that platform with Saraya being aligned with her to really show how entertaining she always is, and I think that worked for her. So she helped out two of AEW's potential top female stars right there. So I think that Saraya could be proud of what she was able to do in that sense. Not always didn't have the same matches because she's not the same performer she was a decade ago. That was a neck surgery and a concussion a long time ago. She's not going to be that, but I think that what she did in helping the women's locker room should be praised a lot more than it will be. And Mina Shirakawa, I think, is a great addition right now to join to the mix with your Willow Nightingales, with your Chris Statlanders, with your Mariah Mays. They need to retain Mariah May, and I think Mina Shirakawa coming in is going to lead to that as well. But it all starts and stops with timeless Toni Storm. She's not only the best female star in AEW, she's the best character, she's the best promo, she's the best performer right now for AEW. I like Megan Bayne, but I think you're setting her up to fail if you think that she's going to win at Dynasty. You got to keep the title on timeless Toni Storm.
I just said it was going to be interesting to see how they book this.
I know. No. I do agree. I've been saying it for weeks. They need to book it like John Cena versus Umaga. She just barely survives Megan Bayne, but he retains, and then you could follow it up. You could continue the rivalry after there. But Megan Bayne is also another good piece to add there. But adding Megan Bayne, adding Mina Shirakawa has just made the AEW Women's Division into arguably one of the best divisions in all of pro wrestling right now, as far as the women.
Yeah, I'm with you. Could you could you imagine where they'd be right now if they had been able to keep Stephanie Vicaire? Like if they had, oh my God, that looks like they're great where they are right now, but that might end up being, in all honesty, the one that got away for Tony Khan as far as the women's division is concerned. Because like she came in as like the 1B behind Julia and quickly became the 1A. In NXT. And just real quick, I 100% agree with you on Saraya. You know, just watching her in the ring, like you could tell she wasn't the same wrestler, and I think she knew that. And talking with her, you know, she didn't want to come in and be the big star in the AEW women's division. She wanted to come in and she wanted to help, and she is a lot smarter than I think people give her a lot of credit for. She knows what she needs to do to help people. Like she knew the talent that Toni Storm had. She just needed to be there to give her the encouragement, right? And like listening to her talk about Toni used to agonize over like the one line in the promos that she would have for the Outcast. So remember the Outcast, it was mostly Saraya and Ruby who was doing the talking, and Toni would have like one line, maybe two. And like listening to her like describe Toni agonizing over getting these two lines right, to where she is right now, where she is delivering just like pages of dialogue and the comedic timing and everything. Just knowing that she had that in her, just being able to encourage her. great. Knowing the best thing she needed to do for Harley Cameron was get the hell out of the way. Just leave. Just go. She's got it. She doesn't need to be behind you right now. She needs a chance to flourish on her own. She knew that, and she's smart. So I think, yeah, she came in. She did her purpose. She's going to be doing a lot of different projects outside of wrestling right now. Honestly, I hope we see her in WWE, a return at some point, whether it's a Royal Rumble appearance. And what she set up, she put this in my brain. I need to see at some point, maybe not next year because the Royal Rumble's in Saudi Arabia, but like the year after that when the Royal Rumble's in America and I could be there for it. I got to see her show up at like 17 and then AJ Lee show up at 18. And those two just have a moment inside the ring together. Like that's all I need in my life. SP3, I appreciate you filling in. Where can people find all your good stuff?
Find me on the Twitter machine at TrueHillSP3. Most of my content is at the True Hill Heat YouTube channel. Every Saturday, we do a flagship podcast. Every Thursday, AE Ramble reviewing AEW Dynamite. Every Tuesday, reviewing Monday Night Raw or Rated Raw Review. And I'm also on the Fightful Overbook YouTube channel on In the Weeds with Jeremy Lambert every Tuesday and Thursday morning. And here on the Takedown on SI, I have an interview coming up with independent star Vinny Pacifico. So check that out as well.
How's the tooth? How's
we talk all about Shibata kicking his tooth out. So we'll check that out. That's coming out probably next week.
All right. Again, guys, check out my conversation with Saraya outside of my terrible internet connection, which actually wasn't as bad as I thought. It's just a little bit annoying when I talk. Luckily, she fills up most of that half-hour conversation. So check that out. She's great. Get her book. It's great as well. Appreciate you guys joining in. Zach will be back next week, back here in the Captain Kirk swivel chair. Until then, enjoy the weekend. Let's hope SmackDown and Raw are really, really good this week. Take care, everybody.